Okay. It says I'm live. See how live I really am. Alright. I can make one guess to who that is. Things are meh right now. Trying to stay afloat. You know how things go. I had to sell off a couple of vehicles to get where I'm at right now, but what are you gonna do? Been trying to just keep going. So, yeah, I hear you there. I worked a graveyard shift for 2 years, and I've just never been the same. Yeah. Fortunately, that's all we can do. You know, we can just keep moving on, keep pushing forward, and hope for the best. And, yeah. So, been well, I said that in the previous. Been working on that stuff, pushing those out a lot. You see this thing working here. So went through some specs on the computers I use, and on the previous video, I don't know how much you saw that, but yeah, that's what I was filming with before. So that's pretty good. I liked it. So, just making sure that everything's up and going still. Yeah. So, this don't give you much option here. What's going on? I don't even know if you can hear me okay. Believe it or not, this is a Straight Talk phone. It's a Motorola G6. Thanks for confirming. It's the Motorola G6. It's a nice phone. Dual sensor camera on the back. It's water resistant. Sounds good. I have no idea the sound on the other side, but my normal cell phone, the Samsung J7 Prime, not bad, not the best, but just a basic run-of-the-mill piece of crap that cheap is good. So I just gotta make sure I'm watching the up there, make sure that's still going. You know what? Those LG Rebels are good. I've heard nothing bad about them. I did have an LG, the G5 and 6. The G5, I had problems with it seizing. It would stop and wouldn't. I'd have to take the battery out. And the G6, the lens on the back here actually shattered, and glass embedded in my finger, and I had to replace that. But other than that, it was a great phone. So my Samsung, I beat the slobber out of this thing. It's been thrown, kicked, skipped across puddles, dropped in the bathtub. Whoops. On purpose. So, you're just going to see me look up once in a while, make sure that's still going. So, anyway, hope everything is going well on your end as well. Just, like I said, just one thing at a time, one step at a time, just keep pushing on. That's all we can do. Shoot at the I had to sell the Buick. The Buick is gone. Traded it for an Impala that didn't stick around very long, and ended up buying a Honda. I actually think I have a picture if I can get it to come up on here. Cute little car though. I love it. Drives good, looks good, well-ish. It's the only car I've ever had with a sunroof. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's the Honda now. That's what I have now. Cat is plugging up. Another horrible mess. Okay, I can tell you how to fix that. It's actually pretty easy. Underneath the car, right as the cat gets to the flex pipe that comes, the down pipe that comes from the engine, there should be 4 bolts. So you got the, I can't even use that. Tape, that'll work. You got the down pipe, and you got a bolt here, 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 and here. Take that out. Take that apart. It's going to cost you a gasket, which is like $15. Get you that gasket, and then poke a hole in the material in the catalytic converter. That will open it up. That'll open it up. I don't know where you're at, if you guys still do inspections, but here in Missouri we still do. You poke a hole through the material in the catalytic converter, and it will open it up. And your mist should go away with that, because if the cat is plugged up, it's going to cause a mist in that engine. So I had the same problem in my Bonneville, and I did that and it was fine. You know, I drove it around for years like that. If the mist doesn't go away, it's definitely either an injector issue or a spark issue, which is normal on those cars because, well, better yet, have your intake gasket checked. That's the best way I can do it. And yes, I still smoke, so. The intake gaskets on the 3800 Series 2s are known for blowing out because of the Dex Cool. That's why last time we talked, I said something about getting the red coolant out and put the green in. The green coolant will actually save it. Okay, it's still working. Very much so. I'm actually part of a group online. Yeah. I'm part of a group on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, that's all they talk about is the intake gaskets on those cars. And have that checked, and if that doesn't fix it, the catalytic converter, I mean, the cheap route is to get it in, to get the gasket, take the exhaust off the downpipe, and just run something through the material. That way, it still looks like you got a catalytic converter on it, and it fixes your clogged cat problem. At least until you get another catalytic converter. Like I said, I got the Honda now, so that thing. But it's, I went from driving American sedans to a Japanese coupe, and I like it. Believe it or not, it's not bad. But I feel like that typical racer white kid driving this stupid thing. Except I don't have a fart pipe on mine. That's insanely expensive. Because to replace the cat on mine, my old Buick, it was going to cost me like $130. Not counting my car still sounds like it has a fart pipe on it because it has the, what is it, the hell's that Honda thing? The Mugen. I have the Mugen exhaust system on it, and it's, I actually bought it with it on there. But it's not loud, like ridiculously loud, like these punks run around here, So, yep, still working. Gotta have background noise. Now, I haven't showcased that car for a reason, because it's not really worth noticing. But I don't know if you saw the picture. I did show a picture of it. I like it. It's not a bad little car. I can't complain too much. There. Little rice rocket. Kind of cheap. That's why I bought it. Mine's got 205,000 miles. And thank you. And it doesn't look like it's got 205,000 on it. So, I mean, it's got plenty of dents and scratches, but it's an old car. I mean, it's got a lot of miles on it. So, actually, mine was a lease car. I have the Carfax on it. It was a 3-owner car. The first 2 owners was leasing companies, and the third one was an individual. And then me, which I beat the slobber out of it daily. The only problem I've had with it is the passenger front brake caliper decided to seize on me. And I had to drive my uncle's 2010 Jeep Grand Cherokee for a week, which I was not thrilled about. Because I went from getting 45 miles to the gallon to 20, and that's on the highway. So definitely, but that comes from somebody who can jump from a Yugo to a semi truck with no problem. I mean, I've driven a lot of vehicles, and I still do that from daily basis. I mean, well, now you can see some of the collection I've acquired here lately. So, because I have been going to a lot of conventions for work and stuff, and I find stuff I like and just impulse buy. So, same with the car, and that was an impulse buy from hell because I needed something immediately, and I had a Kia Spectra for a while, paid $200 for that thing. And same. I liked my Buick. It was great, except it was rotten out from under me. But when I was looking for another vehicle, the Impala came up, and we got rid of that thing in a hurry. And then the Kia came up, and then this Honda came up. Now I'm looking for something bigger, because I went from nice and roomy to tiny. Kia wasn't a bad car. It only had like 6 Impala. Okay, well, we had a 15. No, we had an 11. Then we went to a 15, and then now there's a 12 sitting outside. And yeah, they're nice cars. Loved it. I'm a GM guy. I've always been a GM person. My uncle came to town and he handed me the keys to his 11. I drove that car for a while. It was actually on the channel for one time. Drove it for a little while. Then we took that and the Buick and traded it for the 15, which was black with chrome accenting. Beautiful car. But it wasn't what we wanted. It kept having issues. And we went from a decent V6 to a 4-cylinder, which was a big Y. And then this 12 came up, and it has the better of the small V6s. And that thing is mind-boggling how nice this car is. Yes, the 01 had the, I call it the stupid round tail lights that had the big light bar in the back with the stupid round inlay, which I thought looked ridiculous. But they were a handsome car if it wasn't for that. Now, the one we got is the newer body style, the one after that. It's very attractive. It's white. It's got the sunroof, the pop-up sunroof. It slides back on the top. Pretty sweet. Like I said, the first car I've ever owned with a sunroof is the Honda. And yeah, I don't drive anywhere without it. The first Impala we had was silver, but it had the SS package wheels on it, and it had the smaller V6, had the 3.4, no, it was 3.5. And then the black one we had, the 15, was the new body style, the new one. It had a 2.5 liter in it, which was a total joke. It had the chrome hubcaps and the chrome blah, blah, blah. This one is an LT model, which is silver with the brushed alloys and the 3.6 dual overhead cam motor. And that thing is insane. I've driven a couple of the latest, yeah. I think if I remember right, I'll actually have to Google it real quick. Wait a minute. What am I doing? I just go into my messenger. I actually have a picture of the one we had when we first got it. It's going to be a minute, though. I'll have to find it. Because that car, I liked it. It wasn't bad. that's the one we had. It's the day we picked it up. It was pretty, really nice car, and I couldn't. We just, I mean, it just had one problem after another, after another, after another, and we just couldn't keep it. It was definitely, I call it a problem child for a reason. Actually looking for the other one. Yep, I know all about those. Here we go. There's a good side picture. I just found it. Yeah. Not a very good picture, but there we go. It was an attractive car. I do too. I wanted one when they came out. They actually announced that they were going to make the Max, and I was like, what does this look like? And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, this is something I want. I'm a sucker for a wagon. I like wagons for some stupid reason. Yeah, that's the one I drove. I actually, I had that. We had that for a while, and that's the problem child. That was the one that had all the issues. It was in the shop every other week. I've never personally owned a wagon. I would come close. Never personally owned one. Favorite car that my dad had when I was growing up, and I was actually old enough to drive. He had an '86 Buick Century Estate, and it was that like dark crimson color with the wood grain, and it had the red velour interior. That was the same with this car I'm telling you about now. Had the 2.8 liter V6 in it, and the person that had it before us put cherry bomb exhaust on it. This thing sounded ridiculous when you started it up. It sounded like, well, I'm wanting to say it sounded like somebody put a handful of rocks in a coffee can and then put it under the car. It was so ungodly loud. I worked about 4 blocks away from home at the time, and when my dad would go to start the car to leave, I could hear him at the car lot I worked at. And I would call him on my cell phone and said, dude, you need to tone that thing down. He goes, I just started it. I'm like, man, I could hear that clear to this lot. He goes, oh, bullshit. And I had him actually, it was very obnoxious. I actually took the car home while he was set at my lot, and I started it up in the garage, in the driveway. And he called me. He goes, we got to do something about that. This thing would, you get on the highway, and the drone alone would drive you insane. I had to boost the stereo system in this car to make it somewhat bearable. It's like when I first got my Buick, the resonator actually rusted in two. And if you know the exhaust systems on those cars, is the resonator is right under the armrest. And I only bought that car for like $2,000. And when I drove it, it sounded like a Sherman tank. And then when you get into it, it sounded like a hive full of pissed off bumblebees. And it was crazy.
I'm still checking that, making sure it's running okay. See, no, I'm not going crazy up there. I do have a video playing up there. By all means, do what you do. I'll be here. Cool.
That's all I gotta say. Sorry, checking the weather. Cold and cloudy. Yay. I gotta do stuff outside later on. So yeah. But other than health problems right now, in between health problems, car stuff, that, panels, conventions, stuff like that. Huh. I'm actually allergic to one of those. But like I said, in between doing that, panels and stuff like that, it's been hectic around here, and that's why this looks like a train wreck. Usually I have it all picked up and nice and somewhat tidy, but it's not too tidy right now. Anyway, shoot, I forgot where I was going. When your roommate sends you a Thundercat reference, depends on if it's a Crown Vic Charger or the Crown Vic Charger or the Impala. Be wary. Just forewarning you. A friend of mine used to collect old cop cars. Crown Vics specifically. Impala. Transmission. Have the transmission checked as well as the front suspension.
being a front-wheel drive car, and they put those cars through pure hell. They are bad about transmissions and suspension issues, as well as brakes. But like I said, a buddy of mine used to collect old Crown Vics, and it was almost daily he was calling me about some problem with one of his cars. Oh yeah, they do. Speaking of which, before I moved to this here, I lived in a little village north of here, about 30 minutes, and I worked for them. They had a fleet of Crown Vics. Well, the one that was constantly having issues was the lowest mileage one, which had only like 75,000 miles on it. And the last time I saw that car, it had rot knock. Yeah, I had to patch that car together, and so they can get rid of it. And being a municipality, they can't just take it to the dealership and trade it off. They have to sell it via auction or a secondhand dealer that is approved for decommissioned city vehicles. And I had to throw a rod bearing in it just to get it there. And the lot that we sold it, well, it was a lot. The lot we sold the car to took it, put a new set of rod bearings in it, new set of main bearings, sold it to an individual who brought it back the next day with a seized engine. So that's why I say keep, look, dig into them and hope that there's not a reason behind it. Because I was looking at old cop cars because I know they're heavy, they're hefty, they're a good car, they're a good hardy vehicle. But man, they get beat to hell. It's like the most brutal that I've ever seen a car put through. I mean, I've been to demolition derbies that are less brutal on a car. Well, like the last one I went to with a friend of mine, there was actually a Regal in there in the derby. This car literally ended up, yeah, I would think twice on a secondhand police car, unless it was individually owned prior to your purchasing it. It's not worth it. But no, there was actually a Regal in this demolition derby I went to, and the car nearly ended up being a taco. I mean, it was like literally folded in half, and it was still going. And he actually got in the top two. I think he was like, I don't even remember. I think he was like second place. And he drove it off the field. The rear tires weren't even touching the ground. So there you go. I mean, and it sounded like a brand new car, actually. It sounded really good. I was like, man, I would kill for that motor that was in that car to be in my Honda. And the funny part is my buddy actually drives a Chevy Uplander, which the subframe will actually bolt, unbolt and bolt right into it. But the electronics wouldn't work. So I was like, dude, you oughta talk to him about that motor transmission. He goes, why? I said, well, you got that van over there. It's, same. I actually, my roommate, he drives a '07 Ford 500. Nice car, beautiful blue color, gray interior. Nice car, beautiful, beautiful car. He actually got in an accident with it about 2 months ago, and the only thing we've done to it was replace the headlights. He's like, I don't want to fix it. Let's just go get scratched and beat up anyway. No, we're fixing that car. We have too much time invested in this car. We're not just letting it go. See if I can find a picture of it. It's a beautiful car. I need that. Jeez. Do I even have that still? Yeah. Yeah. I know the feels on that one. Oh, we do have another vehicle sitting outside that I have not spoken of. Pretty car. Too bad it doesn't run worth a shit. It's pretty. That's about it. Let's see if I can find it. The truck. Oh my God. Still though, I would. Yeah, that car is pretty. It's very, very pretty, and everything works, which blows my mind. It has a cylinder 4 misfire, which I know exactly what it is because the timing belt actually broke. People were driving it. They shut it off and it wouldn't start back up. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah, neither am I, but I did have a red car at one time. I had a Buick Riviera that was garnet red. Let's see. I'm actually looking for a picture of Jason's car, and I can't find it. Red Cavalier 82. I had my red car was a 1990 Buick Riviera Barrett's edition. Nice car, beautiful car, but I did not like the red. Those actually have a GM drivetrain. Good running vehicles. Not my favorite. Yes. Yeah, like I said, those actually have GM drivetrains in them. They run. Oh my God. I've seen one. This is no joke. Lame. When I said about something about the car lot earlier. That's still a good motor. We had a 4-door Trooper too. And it looked like the what the hell was that? The Honda. It was the same vehicle, but it had a GM 4.3 in it. And of course, in the state of Missouri, after 10 years, the car goes into exempt for mileage. That's it. The odometer, when we got it, had 782,000 miles on it. Some crazy amount of miles. and it was an all numbers matching vehicle, which the VIN number matched the body, or the body number or the VIN number matched the engine stamp code. And I'm going, there's no way. The owner of the car lot drove that thing for the 3 years I worked for him. And by the time we actually sold that car at auction, it had 945,000 miles on it. And it wouldn't die. We tried to kill it. Didn't work. Yeah, it's way too far. Still looking for this here. Not the fastest phone in the world. Oh, here you go. Proof my Honda has over 200,000 miles. 202, 185 when that picture was taken. Still runs like a top, though. Starts every day, no problem. I beat the slobber out of that poor little car. I actually feel kind of sorry for it. And if you want to see an odd dashboard or an odd dash layout, the top part above the steering wheel is the speedometer, gas gauge, and temperature gauge. The rest of it is just warning lights and tachometer. They'll run forever like that too. I mean, forever. Huh. Weird. I can't find the pictures now. Now the funny part is, with like my Kia I talked about earlier, when I got it, the radio didn't work. You know, I had to replace all the speakers because it sat for like 5 years in the sun. Had to replace the head unit because they lost the code for it. And I actually ended up that was in my Kia. Oh, no bueno, man. No bueno. That's no good. But yeah. Let's see. The most disturbing thing I've ever done to a vehicle was my Cavalier. I had an 84 Cavalier. I blew the transmission out in it. I actually was working for the car lot I mentioned earlier, and they would let me take cars home for the week or whatever, and my car would sit down at the lot in the garage, mind you, and I had the key, of course, you know, it's not a big deal, but I went to drive it again after it sat down there for like 2 weeks, and it wouldn't come out of first gear. So I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, well, I found out what it was after what I'm getting ready to tell you happened. There's a cable that goes down to the transmission. It tells it to downshift. Well, that cable frayed and actually stuck it open. Well, it stuck it out, where it was stuck in downshift mode, and it wouldn't go out of first gear. Well, I drove it around in first gear. I'd drive back and forth to work and back and forth to school and all that. And I put a new transmission in it. Didn't think about replacing the shifter, the downshift cable, and we drove it some more. And it would shift if you bang it into gear. And tried doing that, wouldn't do it. Just kept, it'd go from first to second, back to first. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I took it. I was just going to take it home and park it. Well, I drove it up the street, and I thought, I'll goose it, see what happens. Well, I goosed it, and the engine popped. Spun 3 out of the 4 rod bearings. Lost oil pressure. The alternator light started flashing and started overheating. And I'm going, oh, shit. I was like, you know what? The car's dead. I just about to keep going. I just kept driving. Drove it home. My dad comes out. He goes, what the hell's wrong with your car? And I'm going, I don't know. Well, at the time, I was a young, stupid kid. He opened our back fence, and he said, go put it in the backyard. He said, just put it in the dead pile. Well, my car was the only dead car. We had lawnmowers up there. We called it the dead pile. He said, just put it in the dead pile. We'll go get you another car later. And I put it up there, and it sat there for 3 months. And my dad would say, have you tried starting that car? No. Go try to start that car. Go out there, hit the key, fire right up. Knocking like crazy. A buddy of mine says, man, I want a fixer-upper. And he says, you still have a Cavalier? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, where's it at? I said, it's in the dead pile. He goes, why is it in the dead pile? I said, Knox. He goes, man, that's perfect fixer-upper for me. And he came. He said, I'll give you $600 for it. He said, I know what you paid for it. He said, it's worth at least $600. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take $600 for it. And he bought it off of me, took it home and had it running in 24 hours, drove it back over to my house. He goes, you want to drive your old car? And all I could do to this dude, I looked at him, I said, fuck you. And he says, so what? Yeah, pissed me off. My boss was actually cool because he thought he was to blame for my car going down. And I told him, I said, no, this is not your fault at all. And this is back when I was still in high school. And he said, man, I feel so bad. He says, you don't have a car. He says, you're going to college. You need something, man. And I'm like, don't even worry about it. As long as you keep me in a job and drivers, I'm fine. He goes, no, we're going to fix this. You need your own car on top of, what you could do here. And I'm like, whatever. I can't argue with the man. And yeah, his wife called me the next day and said, hey, meet us over at the Waffle House on Antioch, which was about 5 miles away. And at the time, I was driving a Mercedes diesel that we got in on trade, and it had a full tank of diesel. And I'm like, yeah, free fuel. I drove it over there, and they said, what do you think? They said, we got a present for you. It's your high school graduation present from us to you. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I can't say nothing. Thank you. And my boss's wife hands me the title to 1984 Chrysler LeBaron Convertible Limited. You know what those cars entail? They have a following. We used to call it KIT for a reason. It sounded like Knight Rider. It sounded like KIT off of Knight Rider. When you left the key in, it says, don't forget your keys. And I hated that car. that car ended up dying because it had the Mitsubishi 2.6 in it, and it had had 3 timing chains in it. One ran the cam, one ran the oil pump, and the other one ran the water pump. Well, the one for the oil pump decided to break, therefore sending it into the water pump one, causing the car to overheat, which I didn't notice it until it said prompt services required. I shut the car off, didn't even think about it, just shut it off. Called my dad. He says, what do you want me to do? I said, tow me home. He said, what's going on with it? I'm like, it still runs. He goes, what's it doing? I said, it lost oil pressure and it's starting to heat up. And he goes, shit, I know what that is. We get it home and pulled the oil pan out of it, and we found a length of timing chain, I shit you not, about 4 foot long, that was just curled up in the bottom of the oil pan. And it was actually wrapped around the oil pickup. And we put that in the dead pile too. I went from that to a 92 Oldsmobile Delta 88. We called it the Blue Cow. And that car, when I got it, had 245,000 miles on it, had a 3.8 in it, had cold AC, everything worked. Yes, it was. We put that car through pure, unadulterated hell. My mother had it for about 10 years before I got it. She got it when it was 4 years old. I got it, and I drove that car around for about 2 years. When I sold that car, it had 300 and actually, no, mine was the bigger one. I actually pulled up a picture of the one. It was actually the size of a Park Avenue. It was actually the same body. It had a different badging on it. Yeah, a little bit. Except mine was blue. It was that powder blue. Oh, we beat the crap out of that poor car. We actually used to take it to, there's a lake north of here called Smithville. We used to take it, me and my nephew go fishing, and we'd open up the trunk of it and sit in the trunk of the car and fish out the back. And, well, needless to say, the parking brake didn't hold very well, and we ended up with it axle deep in water. The big one, the brick on wheels. Yep. Yeah, mine was the Royale, which had the velour interior and the premium audio system with power windows unlocked, keyless entry, stuff like that. It was a nice car. Except my keyless entry didn't work, and you had to stick your finger in the. We got the toggle for the power window. There was a little tiny button in there you'd have to touch to get the window to go down. And the horn, you had to stick your finger in a hole. Because it had the stupid plastic things that go by the airbag. And if you didn't hit it just right, you got the shit knocked out of you. You got shocked. But yeah, when I sold that car, it had over 300,000 miles on it, and then I bought my Bonneville. Love that thing. I didn't beat on that car. I actually showcased it. I cleaned it up real pretty and kept that car pristine for 6 years. And some lady decided to park in the trunk of it and total it out for me. Took it, tried to fix it, didn't work, and things started going wrong with it. It ended up costing me more to keep it than it was to sell it, and that's how I got my Buick. But yeah, that car was one in a million, let me tell you. Let's see. I think I still have my car domain on that, on my Riviera. Let's see, images. That was my Riviera at my old house. It was an absolutely beautiful car. And that was when it was clean, and I never kept that car clean. Let's see. The Bonneville at a car show. And of course, you've seen the Riviera or the Regal. The truck was shown on the channel one time. But yeah, I've had my fair share of junk. So, well, it's been almost an hour. I've got 2 viewers. Hello, other person. Let's see what's on here. Nothing important. But yeah, like I was saying, I was actually talking on the other video about computer stuff that I actually showed the what I edit my videos on, what I do, well, that thing and whatnot. The computer I'm on right now is my main editing rig, and it's the my custom built monstrosity. I call that one the monstrosity. It weighs like 30 pounds. Stupidly, that's an exaggeration, but still, it's pretty heavy. The computer I'm on right now, the specs on it are, I've actually done a lot to it. New case, blah, blah, blah. But I'm running R9 graphics card, FX processor, it's an AMD. It's liquid cooled, 20 gigs of RAM, grand total of 5 terabytes, 5.12 terabytes of space, 32-inch monitor, 1,000-watt audio. Don't even get me started. But this one right here, it's an Intel i7, 2 gigahertz processor, 6 gigs of RAM. It's got the JBL sound system on it. Dual graphics, dual hard drives. The battery only lasts about 30 minutes. And this is the one I run my, I've told you about panels that I do for conventions. This is the computer I run for panels. And that's right there. I'm testing a panel right now. So still making sure it's working, which it is. The projector is what I use for showing, and that black box right there is the PA speaker I use for it. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, it's been an hour. I should get off here. I want to actually go clean a car, which is stupid because it's, according to this, it's cloudy out. I haven't been outside for a while. At least until I got home last night. 67, mostly cloudy. Watch the Honda, maybe the Chrysler. Don't know, excuse me. But anyway, I didn't want to get off here and go do something. I don't know yet. But I know I do have to go and get the Honda cleaned up. It's actually been, the past few days, it's been kind of humid and nasty out. Yesterday was a halfway decent day because I got off of work and I came home and directly got on the lawnmower and mowed grass for a solid 2.5 hours because I actually helped take care of some of the lots around where I live, and this is actually a mobile home community where I live, and I actually helped keep a few of the yards clean. And yeah, I got on the mower and just started going. I cleaned up all the yards that I could, minus weed eating, and I just didn't feel like doing it. I am in Independence, Missouri, actually on the border of Independence and Blue Springs. So yeah, I'm in the sticks. Small trailer community in the middle of nowhere. I've been through Sioux City. I liked it up there. It's pretty nice. I actually have a brother that lives over in Burlington. I don't really consider him a brother anymore. He don't even talk. Since my mom died, he hasn't said hi, bye, kiss my ass or nothing to me since. So, to hell with him. Well, here. Come on. Catch up with me here. Service not available, my ass. Oh, bullshit. Perks of having 2 cell phones available. The hell? Oh, screw this. Let's do this. There you go. And so far, it's my uncle and my roommate. And, well, my roommate's parents, or his stepdad, well, his parents, including his step-parents. So, that's a plus. Well, they're the only ones that actually accept my health concerns right now, so. Oh, screw it, I am not going outside yet. It's October 1st. Where's my beer? But Yeah, with now 50 years, 51, 47. We had that like 4 days ago, and it was like for 2 days, like through about 4 days straight. We actually had to turn the furnace on. It was brutally cold here, and I don't do well with cold anyway, due to my health problems. It's 67 is ours here right now, and it's humid, like sticky. So if I went outside right now, I'd probably end up in a ball of sweat. Not really, but enough to aggravate me. Do. I don't need that. That's better. Yeah, mine's due to medications. That there's nothing there, so it's. I get cold. I get chilled very easily. Like right now in here, it's like 66. I think we have it. Well, the AC hasn't kicked on, or the heat. It's chilly in here. That jacket on my chair here is usually what I have on when I'm just sitting here. And I was just thinking, oh, maybe I got the projector going, got all these computers going, it'd be warmer. It's not. I'm actually cold. Like I said, I get chilled very, very easily. So the medications they have me on right now, it makes it difficult for me to keep body heat. Yeah. Like the only time I was comfortable last night is when I was standing in front of the grill. And it was, yeah. Must be nice. Sheesh. A friend of mine actually I grew up with, moved to Gardner, Kansas. And he said, oh my God, I'm so cold. I'm like, what? It's 85 degrees outside. He goes, yeah, but it's cold outside here. And I'm like, buddy, I was right there, you know? It's not that bad out there. I was driving through town with the sunroof open. But 75, geez, must be nice. If it isn't too cold here, it's too hot. If it ain't too hot, it's snowing up to your ass, you know? But getting the chill with me, it ends up me being shivery and miserable and making everybody miserable around me. So, you know, my roommate does the same thing. He works at Ford, which is about 30 minutes north of here. Actually, about 32 minutes to be exact. And last year when it was snowing out, he rolled his window down. I said, dude, are you crazy? He goes, no, man, it's comfortable. I know the feeling. But yeah, he drove up to work with his window down. It's snowing its ass off outside and icing everywhere. And he gets to work, he messaged me, he goes, man, that was the most comfortable drive I've ever had. I'm like, yeah, you're damn mind. He comes home and he finally admitted, he said, yeah, it was cold on the way home. I'm like, dude, no shit. This is what I like about my Honda, actually. I have the recirculate buttons, which if I put it on fresh air mode, even with the blower off, it feels like I've got wind going in my face, because it's just filtering in from outside. Which with that car, it actually has a cabin filter, which has little to no restriction, because it'll actually flip your hair up a little bit. It's cool. And if you pop the sunroof open and put it on vent mode, it gets even better. It's nice. And plus you get the outside noise, which is great. I much as I bitch about that little car, I actually like it. It's the closest thing I've had to like an actual go-kart. But it's about as fun to drive, I can tell you that. Yeah, best ashtray ever, and I figured this out because I still do smoke. Sunroof. I did that for the longest time. I cracked the window about that much and drive around like that for any given time, and it just, yeah. But the best thing ever, and I found this out because I've been trying to cut down on the cigarettes again, because I did it once, I could do it again. This right here, where the sunroof, is the funniest thing ever. Because you fog out the car, and then that's what I do. I mean, if I don't think about this, I grab this. But I fog out the car, and then I'll just pop open the vent, and it'll just filter out the top. You never see so many tailgaters back off so fast in your life. It's funny. It's like my uncle's car, the Impala we have now, and it has a sunroof, and poof, goes out the sunroof. It's great. Cool. But no, I said, I don't know if your Regal has a sunroof or not, but I do know that I do recommend them. They're great, especially if you get one that seals properly. Just so happens the one on the Impala seals properly. Mine seals really good. You pop that thing open, it's a blast, because you get the vaping in there, just to where you can barely see the gauges. You pop it open, and you have somebody tailgating you, and all of a sudden it just goes back in their face. It's hilarious. And mine didn't. My Regal didn't have a sunroof. But the funniest part was it had how it has I call it the portal. The armrest in the back folds down. You have the little access panel. Well, you pull that, hit the armrest down. You pull that access panel down, and then you hit the trunk button. It popped the trunk open about that much, and it would create a smoke screen in the back. It was great. And that was back when I was like hardcore vaping. It was great. We'd fog out the car and just it looked like 007 driving down the highway. Just all of a sudden, poof, just fog them out. It was great. Okay, cool. Actually, Regals, they didn't offer the sunroof in the LS, which I thought was weird. it was an option, but they didn't offer it. They didn't really offer it that much. The GS had it. It was a open option. It was a no charge option actually back then. It's pretty weird, but I've never seen an LS with a sunroof. Yeah, the smoke screen thing, it was hilarious. It looked like I kid you not, it looked like 007 warmed over in a Buick instead of a Jaguar. It was great. They are a very beautiful car. Mine was an 01 as well. Mine was the base LS. Mine had the cassette player. It was the base of the base. It had the cassette player, power windows and locks, and remote keyless entry. That was it. I actually got mine was all silver. Guy I know from work actually runs a engine shop not too far from here, and he invited me to a dyno days, and I'm like, cool, I'll show up. He said, yeah, we're gonna blow up a car. I'm like, cool, that'd be interesting to see. He didn't tell me it was a 2002 GS Limited. Had the supercharged 3800, not absolutely gorgeous car. And he put it on the dyno, and they threw a bottle of nitrous at it. I mean, they emptied an entire bottle of nitrous into that motor and watched the intake explode off of it. And I'm sitting there, and I just left. I couldn't do it. And you are lucky. Mine had the cassette player with Concert 2 sound. Sounded decent, but cassette player. I need no thanks. Hell, I even still have the stereo I had in my Regal. That's the stereo I had in my Regal. Same kit and everything. I took that cassette player out and threw that in there. Yeah, see, mine just had a cassette. Now, the Honda, that thing has an impressive sound system in it. The factory stereo, it's a single disc CD player with XM radio, and it has the premium speaker system, which I think they said it's a Clarion. See, I think I actually still have the picture of it. You could, when you started the car, it actually gave you a little message on the factory radio. I actually set it to something funny, and it's a anime joke between all of us. Here's what I got in the Honda right now. It's I can't get it. Yeah, it's a Pioneer deck now. That's a nice unit. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, that's too far back. And poof, it's gone. But no, we had on the factory radio in the car, in the Honda, had a blue display with white lettering. and you can customize it. Like when I first got it, it said Honda Motors, Honda Motor Company, or something like that on it. And then you could browse through what people put in previously. And the I guess the previous owner was a female, and it said something like "Brandon rocks my socks" or something. I'm like, what the really? Well, I changed it, and I put "I love sushi" on it. It was rather comical because everybody got a kick out of it. Everybody got in the car with me. They were, you don't say. Everybody got a kick out of it. It was rather funny. Let's see if I can find it because it was. I know I got it. Now I got a picture of it somewhere. I just don't remember where. Oh, that also another thing I've been doing is concentrating on my artwork. I've actually been drawing a lot here lately. Oh yeah, those black, ugh. Especially if it has the chrome wheels. Absolutely beautiful. There it is. I found it. Ha! This is what I put on that display. Every time you started the car, it said "I love sushi" on it. And then I changed it to a full touchscreen unit, like that. That's at night lit up. It's insane. Keep your eyes open, man. If you find another one, I'd scoop it up. I mean, those GSs are nice. Crazy is not the word for it. There's crazy and insane. I'm a little of both. Actually, more of both. Triple that. Let's see. No, crazy's the things I do at conventions. Okay. You know, same thing with my Honda. I saw it from a distance, and I'm like, oh, that's not a bad little car. It doesn't look too bad. And then I got closer, I'm like, holy shit. It looked like I got hit by one of those fully automatic airsoft rifles. And there's little pockmarks all over it, scratches everywhere. You can tell, it definitely tells a lease car. And I picked it up. It's been a great car. Oops. That's actually a normality for those cars. Unfortunately, they do that a lot, and you can definitely tell it's a dated system, or well, not dated system. It's a dated interior, especially for the time, because they had much better materials and they just used the cheap stuff. Yes. Hopefully yours isn't near as bad as mine was. I feel sorry for the poor sap that got mine because it was bad. Under the door sills, there's a trim panel that goes below the door. When you open the door, you got the plastic trim that goes along the side of the car. Mine was actually looked like Swiss cheese. The subframe was starting to go. The sway bar was in two pieces. The front sway bar was actually in two pieces. And the front suspension was actually starting to collapse when I sold it. So it was... I mean, if it's a solid car, definitely fix it. I mean, the car will last you a lifetime if you throw enough attention at it. That's my recommendation. Mine too. Mine had the same rust, except mine got bad real fast because the car had damage prior to me buying it, and it you can tell it had some seam work done, but they didn't do it right, and it chewed that quarter up real bad. Let's see, I got more stuff here. Why does it keep doing that? Weird. That one don't work. I know it don't. Mine did too. Suspension are also bad. Check the front end. I guarantee you, there's a bearing that sits on top of the struts. Those start to creak, and then down low, you got all the bushings on the control arms, your sway bar, stuff like that. Check your end links, your sway bar bushings, even your ball joints and tie rods, because they're prone to failure after a certain amount of time. And mine was approaching the time that it was desperately needed to be replaced. So there's that. The Honda, the passenger front actually rattles pretty good. And that's because it's my own fault. I drove the car around with that seized caliper for a solid month, and I'm pretty sure the heat got to the bushings and everything and wore them out prematurely. So I'm going to have to replace them, possibly the ball joint on that side. Why does it keep doing that? It's more of a thump than a clatter, and it's not a clatter and not. It's kind of like taking your finger and banging on a filing cabinet, kind of a thumpy pop noise. Mine did that, and it. I drove it around for like that for a while. But when you back out of a driveway and you hear a loud crack or a loud snap, it's most likely that the sway bar is busted. A busted sway bar. Busted sway bar, not going to change the way the car drives, but you'll notice a lot more. You know, when you run a clump. Yeah, that's about it. Check your sway bar. That's your best bet. Because mine, when the sway bar broke, it made this insanely loud pop, and it started banging around, and you could hear it, and you hit a bump and you just cringe at the sound.
I finally just took the sway bar out and just said, screw it, and I drove it around like that until the day I sold it. The bushings, they're known for failure after give or take. And don't quote me on this because I'm not. Sway bar. Check your sway bar. The bushings, the end links. Basically, get the front end of the car up in the air and just shake down on it. Which what I mean is side to side, up, down on the tire. Reach up under there, grab the sway bar, shake it, and see what happens. I bet you anything it's a sway bar noise. The bushings are pretty cheap. I think they're like, for the chassis kit is like $8, and the end links are like $20. They're stupidly cheap and really easy to put in. So, actually, I can look it up real quick. That'd be a lot easier. Car. Yeah, it definitely sounds like the sway bar. Good enough for me. That's where I'm at. All right. All right. AC Delco suspension stabilizer bar link kit, $9.99 at O'Reilly's, and that's for the fronts. Now I'm just giving you cheap alternatives. Like I said, the link kit is $10. And the chassis kit is $16. So yeah, we're talking silly cheap. And it takes like 30 minutes per side to put it in. It's really simple. I think all you need is a 15 millimeter, no, it's a 16 millimeter socket, a good ratchet, an extension, and I think a 12 millimeter wrench, or no, it's a 15 millimeter wrench. It's all you need to do this. It's really simple. Hell, there's even one right here with brackets and bolts, everything for $18. And that's at O'Reilly's. So yeah, it's really cheap to work on. So laying out. Yeah, buddy. So, yeah, check your story. Just, I would replace the bushings in your sway bar and there you go. Replace the end links, replace the chassis bushings, and most of your clunk and rattle should go away. Because it's a sway bar. I mean, that's common noises, common sounds in a Buick for a sway bar. So just, yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. Yeah, it'd take about an hour to do it. It's, like I said, it's really simple. It depends on how fast you work, really. The catalytic converter is going to take the longest. I mean, if you do what I said earlier, then knock it out. Now, if you even have it patched, I mean, just have a tuber in through it and re-weld it. Yeah, mine made that noise until the sway bar snapped, and I just took it out. Until then, it's just really annoying. Now, it took longer to get the sway bar out. And at that time, I really didn't even care. I went, whatever. Let's see. Oh. So yeah, I mean, it's the same here, except I go to work at 2 and get off at 2. Come home, I'm doing what you see here until I get tired, and then I go to bed and go do the same thing over again. So yeah, it's a brutal cycle, but we all got to do it. But anyway, wish my pay was good. Yeah. Oh, and your earlier comment says very comfy. I fit in it. I know the feels. At one time, I was well over 400 pounds, and I drove my Cavalier. It was not comfortable. Then I got my Oldsmobile. That car was the first one I really fit in. Yeah, I mean, that's any car really. When the caliper locked up on the Honda, I was ready to send it to the junkyard. I was done with it. I couldn't do it anymore, and found out the caliper was really cheap and it was easy to put on, so I just went ahead and did it. And I've never been happier with it. Honestly, I'm not the smallest of people, and I fit in that Honda pretty good, but it's see, you're bigger than me. I'm 5'6", and I'm 5'9" with shoes on. Not really.
I'm technically 5'7.5", and I put shoes on. I'm 5'8", and I weigh right about 190. I just don't hold it very well. And I fit in my Honda pretty good. My roommate, which is about your size, he's actually about 6'2", and right around 285. He gets in my Honda no problem. Now, mine's an 06. Mine is previous to the bigger cabin. Mine, I get in it. I have to literally, I have to do the whole because with the sunroof, I actually lose headroom. So if I sit up straight like I would, like driving the Regal, my head is that far from the ceiling. So, and it's not the smoothest riding car. So every time you hit a bump, you're smacking the top of your head, and it does not feel good because right under your headliner is the track for the sunroof. The impossible. The back seat is worse. When we have 3 people in my car, and we're all, I have a lady friend that comes over once in a while. She's a bigger lady, real sweet girl. She's a little bit right here on me, and she says she's in the 300s, but I doubt it because she holds. I mean, she does. She looks a lot thinner than she actually is, and she sits in the front. My roommate sits in the back, and he has to sit sideways in the seat because if he sits in the back seat, and I want to show you exactly what he looks like because it's hilarious. He's like this. It's hilarious. There's a reason he drives a big car. When I first met him, he drove this Ford Focus, and he didn't fit in that car at all. And I had my Regal. And he said, "Man, I really like your car. Man, it's so big and roomy." And yeah, no, you like my car. You love my car. Drive it. Go away. And he drove my car one time, and then I found out his previous car, and I don't know if you know the term cut and shut, but that term derives from taking 2 cars that have been wrecked and making one good one. The front end was knocked off of it in an accident, and it was on the Carfax. I looked it up. Basically what they did is they cut the firewall out of it and the entire front subframe and welded a whole nother one on it. And I found out that his car was cut and shut, and I told him, I said, get rid of this car and get rid of it now. Exactly. I told him to get rid of that car, and we found this 500, and he's been in love with this car ever since, but he refuses to clean it. He refuses to take care of it. I have to remind him for oil changes, even though it has a little stupid light. It's got the display in the middle of the dash. It tells him when the oil changes due. I have to remind him to do oil changes. I have to remind him to wash his car. Tell him that it's not a dumpster on wheels. It's and I'm constantly on him about fixing the accident damage that he endured during the accident he had. And it was a very minor accident, but it's still, it's ugly. It broke the passenger headlight, scratched the bumper to hell. And you call me crazy. The back seat of my car is so small. A basic ammo box. I mean, I use this for my vape stuff. An ammo box takes up one part of the seat, like where your butt goes. Takes up the entire thing. Like my backpack, I have this this doesn't fit in the back seat. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you put it in the back seat, and it takes up the entire half of the seat, and you sit in the rearview mirror. I mean, that's how small this back seat is. It's pretty small. He gets back there, though, and he stretches out. He's out like a light. I mean, he goes to sleep almost immediately. So it's hilarious. And then I get back there because I had actually, with the way my car's set up, I have the 7-speaker sound system, which the rear deck, there's 3 speakers. I have the 2 mid-range, and I have a subwoofer. Well, the subwoofer died, and I went to go change it, and I went and got the back seat. I'm like, dude, how the hell do you do this? He said, very carefully. He gets back there and he falls asleep. I don't see how he does it. I can't get back there without getting claustrophobic. So yeah. But we're also talking about the guy who will go on his break at Ford, a factory, and he'll go in the corner of like the cafeteria or something and take a nap. This guy can sleep anywhere. I watched him sleep at a Baby Metal concert. He's sitting in the chair. He's sitting in the seat. We had decent seats too. We were like close to the PA, and he wasn't too far from. We weren't too far from it. I had to wake him up. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna take a nap. I want to." Before the concert starts, I'm like, "All right." Well, they came on stage. And I was like, "Get your ass up!" Mine is severe. I can't get into a place with a lot of people. If I can't see an out, I won't go because I will go to a freak out, full freak out mode. I'm about the same. But I have to have a wide opening. I mean, I have to be able to, and if I don't, somebody better get me out of there quick, because I will go into a full meltdown. Like being in this room right now, closed up, and I'm going. Anxiety's always been a thing with me. Growing up, being legally deaf, I mean, I cannot hear very well at all. Never have been able to, and it's only gotten worse over the years. I'm constantly on edge. I don't know how to explain it really. I'm always on the edge. I'm always super sensitive to what's around me. We can blame my high school life for that. Well, most of my school life actually for that, because of these not working. I won't even try it. Like I said, I live in a mobile home, and just going, this mobile home is
a ways off the ground, I won't go under the house because I can't get out fast enough. I see it. It just won't happen. It's just not going to happen. It's definitely a huge deal for me. Like when I first got my Kia, it was an '02 Kia Spectra. It was ugly. Who cared? I didn't care what the car looked like as long as it was a car. I got in it, and the instant I got in it, it was 30 degrees outside. All four windows went down because it was so small, and I couldn't do it. The only reason I got kind of over it was because I knew I could get out in a hurry if I needed to. The Honda, the windows are so big, it's not really a problem because it looks like I'm outside anyway. Now the windshield takes up about 2/3 of the front of the car. I mean, it's huge. Like crawling under the house, this house is 1,380 square feet. I can't go under there, knowing that I can't get out fast enough. Even right now, it's bugging me. I won't even attempt it. I won't even look in there. I'm like, nope, I ain't doing it. Now you put me on the roof, I'm good. I'm in the open. I'd risk breaking a leg before I crawl into the house. If I can't get off the roof, I'll jump. But I won't go under the house. Simple fact is, there's just no way. Yeah. I'm good. I'll be fine. Like right now, it's yeah, it's the thought. I can't do it. Crawling under a car, I can't do that. Not even for a minute. I'll actually have my roommate, like if I have something to do, like an oil change or something, he'll get under the car for me because he knows that if I get under there, I'll panic. But yeah, it gets bad real quick. Huge. Now, speaking of greenhouses, my Bonneville is green in color, inside and out. And that car, you get in it, it felt like you were in a concert hall all by yourself. It was so big and comfortable. It felt like a cloud it felt like a couch on the highway, just a floating couch. So nice. Yeah, right. Anyway, but yeah, it was just well, get my head out of the from under the house, I guess. Huh? Now the bigger the vehicle, I liked it. The bigger the vehicle, the better for me. Specifically, if it's like an SUV or like a wagon or something, the bigger the better, because it's just one feels like you're in a huge room by yourself, and two, you can get out fairly easy. I mean, like when I was driving my uncle's Jeep, he has a 2010 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I just had to drive that for a few days while my car was down, and I felt comfortable in it. It felt like I was in a theater all by myself. I mean, it was great. Comfortable ride, even though it's a 4-wheel drive. Blah 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 blah. It wasn't bad. I liked it. Would I drive it regularly? Hell no. There's a reason I bought a Honda. Music playing. That's helping the anxiety a little bit. But anyway. Yeah, I just, like a good example, the conventions I go to. I won't go into a crowd of people unless I know I can get out in a hurry. If I feel trapped, I will get violent to get out. I have been known to, even at work, I work retail right now. Even at work, I have been known to look for an out because I work behind a counter. I'll find an out, and if I can't go do that, I will go over the counter. I have been known to do that. You know, the funny part is I had a 92 at one time and a 92 coupe, sedan DeVille. You want a big-ass car. That's 72. That thing was a land yacht. Actually, a cruise ship compared to my 92. But it, the bad part is where I work is at a shopping center. I actually work in an indoor mall. And there's really, I have a direct access. My boss has figured out to give me direct access to the back room to where I can get out. And he's really understanding about my anxiety with that stuff. Same. I do prefer to be familiar with everything around me. If it's not familiar, I'm very cautious. And again, blame my schooling, because I went to public schools. I could deal with them all. The mall I work at is very open. Very open. You walk out into the main halls, it's not like any normal shopping mall, to where you're going down hallways that are fairly wide. You walk out into the main area of the mall, and it's wide open. There's easy outs everywhere. And the first time I went into that mall, I was like, wow, this is great, because there's nowhere that somebody can hide. Same. That's why I go to Walmart at 3 a.m. Because there's nobody there. There's 4 Walmarts around me, and I go to the biggest one at 3 a.m. because there's nobody there. There's maybe 6 cars in the parking lot, and I'm in there and out because there's too many holes that people can be in. And yeah, I don't do tight places at all. Like I said, this room right here, it's the biggest room in the house, minus the living room. And my door's closed right now, and I feel kind of trapped right now, but there's a window right here. Literally right there. Need be, out that I go. Exactly. I've always been a night owl. Since I worked 2 years at the graveyard shift, I was 6 p.m., 6 a.m. And it wasn't that bad. I
I liked it. It was great, but it screwed up my internal clock, like permanently. Like I've been up now. I got up yesterday at 1 p.m. I've been up all night. And I went to bed yesterday at 9 a.m. So calculate that. And I like my nights. I get more done at night anyway because nobody's in my way. Like, good example, all my previous videos, like the old stuff that I was clearly in a garage. All those videos were taken in between midnight and 6 a.m. Everything got done in that short time. And I keep getting this. Oh shit! Saturday. I got everything done. I know. Going to Walmart. I mean, the best way I could tell you that is to find the biggest Walmart possible and go about 3 a.m. Right now, the biggest Walmart around me right now is in Blue Springs. It's on the far east side of Blue Springs, and I'll go there because it's literally one of those mega centers, like the big ones. And I go in there, and I'll walk in there, and they'll greet me by name because I'm there all the time. They see my little car pull in, and they're like, "Hey!" And my chat is glitching. It's the same with me and my roommate. He knows I have severe anxiety issues, namely spawning from my past, and my current state right now. Probably because it was a smaller Walmart. I found the smaller Walmarts give me higher anxiety than the bigger ones. Like the one I go to, like I said, the one in Blue Springs, it is massive. And I go in there about 3 a.m. Like I said, there's like 6 cars in the parking lot. It's way better. Yeah. The checkout areas with the one I go to there's like 40 some cash registers, and there's about half of those are the automated ones. So I get in there and I do my transaction and I'm gone. Yeah, it's the size of the area for real. Like I said, I have the same issues. That's why I go to the self-checkouts, the automated ones. I can go as fast as that computer will let me, and I can get out of there as quick as possible. The ones that actually have the people in them, and they decide to take forever because they want to look over everything you buy, they freak me out because I don't like that. I don't like people hanging around me. And I don't like being in that tight space. Even though there isn't a very open out just to my right, there's still somebody right here. Or there's somebody right here. I don't like that. It freaks me out, and it doesn't do me any good. But again, a lot of this spawns from my school life. Granted, it really is, but I always get to the one. Find they get to the one nearest to the person that's attending, and I say, "Hey, I got alcohol, you need to, be open and be ready. And I'll scan it first thing and then come over and approve it for me as fast as possible. I actually went to a therapy session. They told me to do that. It works because they'll come over, approve it, and I can continue with my transaction as fast as possible. Mine gets to the point where, like when I go and buy like my e-juice or my cigarettes or whatever, and I'll go to the most empty store. I will drive around, find the most empty store possible, as well as the biggest. The place I get my e-juice at is 32 minutes away from me because there's never everybody there. I mean, it's wide open. I mean, if there's anybody in there, they're usually in and out. I go in there. I'll actually talk to my buddy behind the counter for a little while. He'll help me out. I'll get my stuff and get out. The smoke shop I go to, they know my issue. They actually take time to get me near the door to do my transaction because I don't want to be in there. It gets to the point where it just starts interfering with everything. So it's like, well, like at work, now that I know I have it out, I can actually go get to the back room as fast as possible. It helps me at work. There for a while, I had to take time off because I couldn't figure it out. There was no way for me to get to the back room as fast as possible. And my boss figured that out for me. And he's like, I need you here. And he says, I figured out a way around your problem. And he fixed it for me. And you have somebody to take with you. I have nobody to take with me. It's either me, myself, or I take my roommate, or I take my the vape shop I go to, it's a buddy of mine. He lives locally. He actually lives about 5 miles away from me. He'll let me know if he's working. He knows my situation. He's offered the back room to me a couple times when it gets a little busy. I won't take it, of course, because this place is pretty big. He's really understanding, and I'll only go when he's there. There's another vape shop I go to that's about 45 minutes away, but it's always packed, and I won't go to that one. And I have very close friends that work there, and I can't walk in there. And they understand. I mean, they'll make the trip down here to see me, so it's not too bad. I go to a total of 3 vape shops. The closest, largest vape shop is actually one I can't even go into because, well, it's a personal thing to me. I don't like going into a vape shop that sells weed pipes. I do approve of the use of marijuana, but I do not. I personally can't do it. Same. There's actually 3 people that work at the one I go to. The owner, the manager, and I call him the new kid, even though he's been there almost a year. Is it the owner, the manager, and the new kid? And they're all understanding of my situation. And yeah. Yes, it is. Because, well, I mean, Doing CBD is a totally different thing. I mean, the CBD treatments are good for like people with high anxiety and stuff like that, but I can't touch it because I do have an allergy, not to the chemical, but to the plant that it comes from, so I can't touch it. Um, but you get these stupid shops, and I'm not going to mention names, but it is a big name shop in the Midwest that every one of them I've been to has that stuff in it, and I will not tolerate going. I mean, I won't tolerate it. I go in there and I see it, and I walk right back out. Well, excuse me, I hobble back out. The main place I go to, they do the CBD oil and the pins for it, and they'll say this is for this and this, and that's all it's for. But they can't really say exactly what it's for because of FDA regulations now and all that BS. But like I said, if they're selling glass and stuff like that, I'm out. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I don't tolerate that at all. You're there to not do that. You're there to stop the actual smoke, and that's hurting the name, and it's hurting every bit of it actually, and I don't appreciate that. I go there because you're trying to get away from it, but you're still selling the stuff to make it happen, which is, I think, stupid. The place I go to, like I said, they do the CBD oil, but that's totally different to me because it's still vaping. It's not burning a plant or burning parts of a plant to do it. Like the place I go to, they're really, really cool about it. And they ask my opinion. They ask the actual customer's opinion on what they should bring in. And they asked me straight up, what would you do if I brought in glass? And I'm like, you'll never see my fat ass again. So I won't do it. As have I. I actually have, he's my adopted stepdad, since my roommate's parents have openly accepted me, and they say, yeah, you're my adopted kid. His stepdad, he suffers from PTSD. He's currently in the Army, and he'll come home and I'll go grab him a pen, and he'll hit on that for a while, and he's perfectly fine. I know people that's used it. It's helped with anxiety, helped with depression. It's like I said, I don't discourage it because there's so much medicinal properties to it. But with how these guys are doing it, this vape shop is doing it, is they're hiding the head shop behind a vape shop name, which is just like you said. And it's stupid. It's completely stupid, completely uncalled for, and it's harming the community. So I mean, it's one of those things. I don't condone it. And if I go in there and I see glass hanging on the wall or glass, on a shelf, I'm right back out that door because I'm not going to support somebody that's doing this. I would rather support these little mom and pop shops. Yes. Now, the place I go to is a mom and pop shop. They actually work with my roommate at Ford, and they have this vape shop on the side. And that's the main reason I can go in there and have an escape to their back room, so my anxiety don't go through the roof. And I would much rather support a mom and pop shop that's doing it right than to go to these big name places like this other vape shop that I won't mention, that is a corporation that spawned from Arkansas and goes clear up through the Midwest. I won't do that. I mean, especially when I walk in there and see glass. It's stupid. And they have stuff that support the vaping community. You're not doing that. You're making it more difficult for us to do what we're needing to do what we want to do. It's stupid. Whoops. I swear I dropped everything I could get my hands on. We did have an Aloma here close by. It closed down pretty fast. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and name it. Why not? What are they going to do? Come back on me? This place I'm talking about is Vapor Maven. You just as well call it Head Maven or something like that. I don't fucking know, but you don't hide behind a vapor name to run a head shop. I'm sorry. The one I go to, actually, I might have. Nope. The one I go to, I swore I had a card here. They do online orders too. I have no idea where it's at. The place I go to is Vapor Loft KC. Yeah, I feel the same way. Especially, I mean, you walk into a place and you're promptly greeted with a smile. That's the biggest turn on for me when it comes to walking into a business. Speaking of a corporation, it's just like Vapor Maven here in town. They are, you just as well open the sales book for a vape shop. And these guys walk up to you. Hi, man. How's it going, man? Oh, yeah, I've got that. And then show me something completely different. Like, I walked in to a place the other day. Good example. Walked into a place the other day, and I was like, when they first opened their doors, they were great. They were very friendly staff, always very kind and knowledgeable. I walked into that place, they didn't know what I had right here. Not many people can name it. They didn't know what I had. Oh, man, you got some CBD in that thing? Really? Same. I walk into Vapor Loft KC and it's like, hey, Scott's here. I'm like, yeah, God, this idiot's here, you know. Or it's not like you walk into like Vapor Maven and they're like, hey, welcome in. Like, dude, go away. those ones, the big box stores, the ones like Vapor Maven, Aloma, and there's nothing against your guys there, but you walk in, it's like they're doing you a favor by being there. Like I walked in, there's one here, it's called Sigawatt. Walk in there and they look at you like, oh, there's another person. Like, dude, if you don't want my business, I'll go somewhere else. Like, for real. And I call those shops like that, I call them dude bro shops. Because all you get, the ones that are hanging out there, though, all you get there is, dude, bro, dude, you ought to see this giant cloud I did, man. Oh my God, it was so cool, man. Dude, bro. Like, dude, take that shit and go back to California with it, would you? Because, you know, that's what they do out there. I'm trying to find this card. I know it's here someplace. Well, you know you got too much shit on your desk. I don't know, I can't find it. Well, yeah, I mean, Aloma is the one. If you want something, they can get it. But like I said, those like the big box stores are the ones I call them dude bro shops, because that's all they do. Dude bro, dude bro, dude bro. Like, who the fuck cares about your cloud, dude? You're here for a reason. That's gonna bother me now. I know it's got it. I know it's here somewhere. We had one called 816 Vape. It was actually next to a gay bar. It's called next to Missy B's, actually. Coolest people you ever meet. And it was actually ran by a gay couple. Really cool people. Very, very helpful. They would do anything to help you that was possible. And they made sure that you were taken care of very promptly. And that they actually, when the FDA thing came down big, real hard on the vape shops, they said we can't afford to keep going, so they just closed down. The regular customer base actually gets regular emails from them saying if they need anything, they would be willing to get it for them. So now the one I go to is actually next to a bar, and they actually stay open late for the bar crowd because they want to help as many people as possible, and they've actually gained business from the bar just by doing that, and it was cool. And it's actually this place I'm talking about. It's up in North Kansas City. Like I said, about 32 minutes away, and even the bar owner comes over to the vape shop and says, "Hey man, you guys want something to eat?" Like they'll even offer me food when I'm there, which is cool. And they help us out with food as we, like he offered me a cheeseburger and an order of gourmet fries to Billy McCoyle. I'm wondering if they still have their. Actually, the place I go to, they close at 10 p.m. They open at, I think, 9. Okay, I'm wrong. They open at 10 a.m. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that's the place I go to. And I don't know if you can see that up there. This is Vapor Loft KC. They actually do online ordering now for people, which I think is pretty cool. Overalls and a beard. You know what? If it works, and all it takes is a friendly face and good business practice for me to make it work. That if it isn't a giant dude bro shop, I'm okay. Okay, this place I go to, I just saw this. It's funny as hell. Personal stats. 925 juice combinations. At the bottom part. 12 staff cups of coffee daily. I just noticed that. Those are the kind of guys that actually know the most. They know the most. They know how to. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. This place I'm talking about here. Oh, here you go. Good. It's good sized. Come on, focus on me, damn it. Oh, there we go. Vapor Loft KC. Yeah. The manager there, he came from San Francisco, California. He said he got tired of the vaping scene out there because it just turned into a giant shit show. He said every time you walked into a vape shop, it was nothing but dude, bro, and you just get smacked in the face with a giant CBD cloud. There's a couple of those around here. Let's see. Vapure is in a bad spot. Yeah, Vapure's in a bad spot. Leo Steam is in a real bad area. I mean, everything's behind glass and cages. Let's see. The vape room's in a bad spot, which I won't go there anyway because it's a giant dude bro place. What's that? It's in shit. Where's it at? It's in the Northeast. We call it the West Bottoms. There's a place down there that if you walk through the door, there's a gun in your face because they don't care to know you. They just care to, that you spend your money. Same. That's why I go to Vapor Loft because they are very friendly. It's a mom and pop shop, and it's very well organized, very stocked, very clean. It's not enough bad. It's not. It could be in a better location, but it's pretty good. The juice combinations. If you mix your juice, you get a different flavor. Blah blah blah. I only go for one kind of flavor, and this is the only shop that carries my preferred flavor. It's a Japanese egg custard. They're the only places that carry this. It's a delicious flavor. I go in there, they'll ask me to try juices that they're not even on the shelf yet. I've had American Vapor and I've had Space Jam. I actually gave away a bottle of Meteor Milk to a friend of mine the other day. I actually had a 100 ml bottle of it. That juice is very around here is very rare. I got the only bottle in the city right now, and I highly recommend it if you can get a hold of it. And it's delicious. I mean, that's what's in here right now, and it's aged. Okay, I take that back. That's got a little bit of Meteor Milk in it, so but it's still good. And hopefully my smoke detector don't go off. But yeah, you can get a hold of some. Oh God, it's so good. That one, yes. All the yes. It's so good. My roommate actually vapes that constantly. He loves it. Right now, he's stuck on this. When I went up there last time, they had me try these, and they said, "What do you think of them?" I said, "Oh, they're not bad. They're pretty good, actually. You want them?" Yes, actually. You want them? No. Hey, anyway, these right here. They had a plethora of them. I said, "Here, I'll give you some money for them." He's like, "No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So he handed me the entire line, and he says, "You know what? If you want to pay me, give me $5." So I gave him $5 for 4 bottles of juice. And but the only downside is those ones are menthols, and I don't do menthols, so it's like, oh boy. So I just give them to my roommate when he needs juice. Don't worry about the caps lock thing. I do it all the time. But, yeah. For what I was doing. Yeah, my roommate likes that Helio milk. Personally, if I can't get Yummy Vapor, I will actually get Glass, which I haven't been able to afford some Glass here lately. So I've been hoarding that stuff. I like the Pebbles and the what the hell is it called? Cinnabon. It's pretty good. I also like the melon milk, or the melon, or the Meteor Milk. I also like the what's that other one I have? Strawberry. There's a yeah. I've actually tried Salt Nick. The I don't know if you guys have that up there or not right now. I have that. It's strawberry bubblegum. Takes a specific kind of mod, but you know what? That specific kind of mod is an amazing little device. That right there is equivalent to that right there per hit. So a nice slow burn. Gives you that throat hit like you would with a cigarette, and it It has a really pleasant taste. I actually vape it at work. I'm allowed to use my Salt Nick mod, wherever the hell it went. There it is. I have that. I'm allowed to use this at work, and my boss is cool with it because he's like, "Oh, it smells good." It's not charged. This is the Aspire Breeze 2, and yes, you are right. But this is technically a pod device. But it's got a replaceable coil, so you reuse the tank, and it's great. They don't have a lot of output, but trust me, you feel it. It's like instant. But like my juice is 35 milligram, and it's enough to make you go, whoa. Right now I'm gonna, but well, I hate to cut it short, but at how 2 hours and 37 minutes. Yeah, I gotta get moving here pretty quick. So it's nice catching up with you, and I'll actually try to get on here a little bit more, but I cannot guarantee much right now since I'm busy with medical stuff, work, and paying this, that. So yeah, that's about all I can do right now. I gotta get my uncle up. He gotta take his car in to have things taken care of, and I gotta go get my paycheck and get prepared for this convention coming up soon. Which, yay! Actually, yay! Because I'm excited for this one. I just gotta do some more work with that stuff, which is gonna be fun. Because I got one video that's not wanting to work. So, anyway, yeah, I'm going to head off of here so I can get this stuff done. So, I'll actually try to get on here more often. But, like I said, I can't guarantee much because with, life, I've been trying to organize things to get it going again. And it's just dragging a little bit. So anyway, I will see you later. I'll post it up on the Facebook next time I go live or whatever, and we'll chat then. So take it easy, and I'll see you later.